It says recording, so I guess this is it. Okay. Well, in just a minute, Bethany and I will all mute our stuff, our mics, and we're going to give it over to Jan and Greg because I want them to have the full time. They're from Olathe, Kansas area.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I thought I had the right place. Met them a couple of years ago. A couple of years. Kind of followed. And actually, how I met them is I wanted to know. I talked to Lacey about somebody that I could relate to, and she said, "That's who you got to talk to." So Lacey kind of introduced us. We haven't been able to do a lot, but we see each other, and it just feels like a common bond. It just feels like family, even though you don't see each other all the time. That is one of the good things about Facebook, y'all. It gets a negative rap all the time, but it does connect you, and it does make you feel like friends. So, y'all, they have done amazing in this journey. As you see, there's two of them sitting there. Stephanie has her husband, Trevor, but he's off the camera. He's hiding over there. So
Hello.
He is joining us tonight. I told him he is very interested. He's got some wonderful ideas stirring up in his head. And I said he had to listen to Greg tonight. So y'all, I'm going to cut the mic and let people in as they pop in, but I'm going to give it to Greg and Jan.
Well, thank you. We're so blessed and honored that you asked us to join your team and share what we've been doing. And Greg and I do this together. So we each have different strengths that we kind of bring to our team, but we both are teachers and coaches. That's our background. And so we kind of, use that a lot with our training in our team. But we grew up in small town, North Dakota, farm kids, and had a work ethic. We were doing all kinds of, just everything. We weren't afraid to work, and as teachers, we were working all kinds of different, extracurriculars and things like that. And when we got started, a friend, she was losing weight. I looked at that opportunity, and then went to a major function in St. Louis. And it was there that, we caught the dream. And I said to Greg, I'm like, we've been doing all these extra things. We need to give this a try. And literally within about 6 weeks, we replaced every single extracurricular income that we had been working on. And so went pretty quick with that as far as like the replacement income for that, right? And so then we just knew that it was something that we wanted to do. And so, and being around this group of people, it's like a family, like Tammy said. It really is. Everybody embraces each other and helps each other. And so we've pulled that into our team, and that's we're a family, and every single person on our team is important. And so we're just going to share some of the things that we do with how we coach our team, that, some of the things that you guys are doing, I'm sure a lot of them are the same. But the end of month magic that we talk about, we really run for it. At the end of the month, the last 3 days, you'll hear this often, you'll hear how powerful the last 3 days of a month can be. And you want to run as hard as you can the last 3 to 5 days, because it catapults you into the next month, and as you're running for ranks, don't stop until the very last minute. And we had an opportunity, we double ranked one month, and I'm going to let Greg talk a little bit about it, about what we did in about 6 hours of time, just to give you guys a vision of what can happen. So I'm going to let him.
Well, really, it started the 1st October. Let's see, we got started in business building in October of 2018, right?
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah, 2018. This COVID thing has made my brain like stop, right? Because I started on the journey to lose weight in September of 2018, because after 45 days, she had lost her weight. I was going to wait. I'm a football coach, was a football coach, and was going to wait until after the season. I was like, don't have time to really worry about plans and all that. And then she came home from St. Louis and talked about the business, like she said. And then I got started because she had lost her 30 pounds in like 46 days. I was like, oh, I got my girlfriend back. We've been married 44 years. So anyway, we got started, and we really picked up the business in October of 2018. We talked to Lacey like October 12th. We had no idea what we were doing. I mean, we just started, and we made manager those last 3 days of the month. So because she kept saying something about the last 3 days. So we learned about the last 3 days of the month, the first month that we really actively built the business, because it was on that last day of the month. Well, then let's fast forward to May of 2019 then. Yeah, holy cats. May of 2019, in April, we had gone to a training and I ran into Kobe Schul, who was the representative for the West region to talk to anybody that was going to be platinum managers and above. And we were sitting at gold manager volume from the week before or the month before. And I knew that we would qualify for that first trip then in April. And so we had gone to this training in early May. And I just told Colby, I said, look, our team is rolling. We're going to be talking to you. I ran into him. I didn't know him. I saw it in the convenience store. And I said, we're going to be talking to you in June because we're going to qualify as at least platinum managers. And our team is on a roll. I think we can make it the director. And so he looking at me like everybody probably looks at people when they make bold statements. And I could see look in his eye was like, yeah, okay, buddy, whatever. But our team was actually on a roll. I'm just the eye candy behind it. She's the face of what we do. Okay. And we love to have fun at whatever. I have to have fun or I'm just not going to do it. And so I do all the back office stuff. I with my football background, we have a whole bunch of people that we're starting to pull in now that are really interested because they remember the fat coach Berg at 280 pounds that used to coach them. And now the old one who's at, 80 pounds lighter is like, oh man, coach, what are you doing? So they're starting to pick up and pay attention, all the guys that I coached in college and with in high school. So, and then they're like, oh, we got to talk to the brains. So they reach out to her. And so, but we were sitting, Lacey called with like 3 days left in May. And said, where are you at? And I said, well, we're at like 14,000. And so I know we're going to go over 15,000 and we're going to get that first qualification for that $500 because I don't know about y'all, but trips and cash are like, I'm all about trips and cash. And so, because I love to travel and you put me in an airplane, I don't care where we're going, let's just go. And so I knew we were going to qualify for that cash. And I just had the feeling the way our team was rolling that we could do it. And so we woke up on the 31st of May and we were at like 16,000, something like that. And I just got a hold of all of our people and I'm like, okay, what do you got going on? How many things you got out there? How many chats we got going on? Jan was gone. She had
I was in North Dakota helping my parents.
And so I'm talking to all of our people and I got speed dial because I don't know anything about Messenger, Boxer, none of that stuff at that point. And so I'm phone calling them and so at 6 o'clock that night, we're sitting at like 15.9. And I said, Lacey called me at 7 and she's like, what do you think is going to happen? And I said, well, we got a shot. We got a shot because with everything that's going on. And so at 6 o'clock or about 7 o'clock, we're right at 16.1. And at the stroke of midnight, Central Time, we still had some time left and I knew it. Stroke of midnight, Central Time, we were at 20,200. So our team was rolling. And so you can catch that roll. And so we've got a girl right now who we finally got her to believe this magic. She's been involved with us for a couple of months and she is screaming along. She's going to qualify gold tonight. It's a day ahead of time because her team's screaming along. And she's originally from New York. So she's got that New York attitude, number one, and that New York lingo, number two. And her girls in New York are absolutely nuts. They crack me up. I mean, they're bold. Yeah, so we're starting to embrace this because they'll go to their neighbor's house and grab their phone and add. If their neighbor's not going to do it, because their neighbor will say, yeah, I'll add for you. Well, if it's been 2 days and they haven't added, they walk next door and they do it. Yeah. They just grab the phone and do it. And I'm like, we've had some people add over 1,000 in the last two days into our results page. And And we called Denise. We're like, you better strap up because you got like 3,000 brand new invites that just hit the page in the last 12 hours.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
that really has been
dog.
one of our biggest things is, we really focus on the daily activities. We focus on inviting to the Summit journey. We focus on comment, and that's our result page. Focus on commenting in there, focus on friending and posting. And so, and then not just posting in our results page, but posting on their personal page and letting people know they have a business. And I know there's all kinds of different ideas about what you should do and how many posts you should put up. And really it is a balancing game of figuring out what works for you and what works for your team. Like we have 2 girls on our team that post all the time. And Heidi Dutton-Heffer, you've probably seen her name. She is at the top of the leaderboard and has been on the leaderboard, I think, for 5 months in a row. And that girl is posting. If you get in and follow her, she's got some very creative posts. And one of her strategies is she puts a post up, and if she doesn't get feedback on it, she takes it down.
Within like a half an hour.
So that's not in there, filling up her feeds. And then she keeps, putting things in. And so she's gotten really, really creative with it. And
let me jump in here. The
okay.
cool thing about Heidi is, and this was a prime example because Kella and Lacey kept telling us, you work your first 4 lines, work lines 2, 3, and 4, just like they're personal. Heidi is our 4th level. Mm-hmm. And so the girls, level 3 for that in that leg, we have no idea who she is. We've never met her. Level 1 and 2, we knew level 1. Level 2 is a monster truck driver, 20 minutes north. The girl that we that's her sister she was sponsored by, that was a babysitter of our children are 41 and 43. So they're like old, they're babysitter of them. And Heidi, we claimed some, and so be bold and look and start claiming where you want businesses to grow, because Jan and I have claimed where we wanted businesses to grow in different parts of the different states. And wouldn't you know, we write them down, we claim it, and God is so good that within 3 to 6 months, whether it's first line, second line, third line, we have 7th line people now in certain areas of the country, and that happened because we stayed steady. And so if you stay steady, and I know I know Tammy teaches all of the things we're talking about, and we're just excited. We just get excited. I look back office. I was a logistics manager at UPS for about 20 years. I got out of education. And so I can look at numbers, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at Lacey will call me and say, okay, where are you going to be this week? Where are you going to be this at the end of the month? I'm usually within 500-600 points of where we're going to be, and luck mostly probably, but our people, you can tell just by the activity that's being done what's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, we have a couple of people just like all y'all, just stay steady, because we hit manager and then we went silver manager the next month, and we stayed there. I mean, it was like, I was like, are we ever going to get past this 5,000 mark? I mean, because we would go 5,200, 5,400. We went past 6. I'm like, okay, this is good. We went past 6,000. 6 months later, we finally went gold, or 5 months later, we finally go over gold. And I'm like, we got to keep this going. And then we hit silver director, and that was like a parking lot.
Yeah.
For
So
us.
here's the
felt
thing.
like a parking lot.
Yeah. And here's the
But
thing too.
we stayed steady.
Yeah. You just be consistent with what you're doing, and, don't expect things to, I know that we're a society of instant. We want it right now. And, you're going to plant it, you're going to plant the seeds, and it's going to be 30, 60, 90. And if you don't do anything today, don't expect anything in 30, 60, 90. So keep planting the seeds all the way to the very end of the month. But, just daily, you're doing that, planting those seeds, and then not ignoring them, watering them and going back and tending to them. And, and then pretty soon they just, like spring, you see those flowers just pop up, out of nowhere. But you've been tending to it, right? And so, and the end of month magic it's because of everything you've done previously. But I also want to, make sure that you understand, you talked about writing things down and the power of vision. So know where you want to go. Don't just leave it in your head. Write it, declare it to your upline. So we tell Lacey, this is our goal for this month. We talk to Melanie, we talk to Colby. And we do coaching chats with them because we want, we're like, okay, here's where we want to be. Tell us what you see with our business. And then they coach us, and, we've given them permission to tell us, what, this is where you need to pick it up, or this is where I see that, you're really strong with this. This could be stronger here. The other thing is we celebrate everything. We celebrate our newest person getting their fast four. We celebrate people hitting manager. That's important, not just to us for our team, but for the members of the team to see how everybody else and have that belief that they can do it. If we can do it, they can do it too. Because sometimes I think, we look at someone that's in the director level or the executive level, and it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I remember when the twins went executive, and I'm like, oh my God. I said to him, how in the world do you ever get 100,000 QV? How would you do that? And so, and now that we've hit it, now it's like, okay, now we know what where we're going with the next level. But
well, and
he's a numbers guy, so I'm going to have him, tell you from where we were a year ago to today.
So last February, once we went director in May of 2019, we stayed there until last February when we fell short of qualifying as director. We were either director volume or silver director volume from that point until last February. We fell to like just barely over 17,000. And I threw some things around a little bit. My football coach attitude on the sidelines came up pretty good. We had a high volume discussion about how March had to go. We had 11 Founders Club points at the end of February last year. And so we went into March and I said, doesn't matter what we do, we have to be over 20,000 PV or QV. And so we hit 22, and Lacey called and we didn't do anything the first couple of weeks of the month. It was really slow. And so it was, I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on, right? The last couple of weeks started to pick up, and we went running out of March into April. And so we finished March at 22, and we went running, sprinting into April. And of course, that's when a lot of stuff hit last year, if you were around at that point. And we went running into April, and we ended up April just shy of 70,000. And so we tripled because of the momentum that we created when we came out of the regional training. Jana Bullard said a few things to me in Wichita, and Calla said a lot of things to me in Wichita because she was again gone at a school function. And so we picked up a lot of those things that kept going. And so then Lacey and I and Calla had a conversation at the end of April, beginning of May. And then in May, we doubled that volume again and went executive, and then followed it up with an even the same amount in June. And so we went from 11 Founders Club points, because then we hyper focused on Founders Club only, bringing in those legs and getting those 1,200 step points, or in inception volume steps done. And so we focused on that in a matter of 3 months. Then the face put 250 Founders Club points in the bag, and we were off and going from obscurity to Founders Club. And of course, we haven't been able to go. And the reason that we felt like it was to go is on September 30th of 2019, we solidified Founders Club as silver directors, and we went to Panama. And when we went to Panama and we hung out with all the people in Panama, I was like, man, we can't miss this again, because this is powerful. We learned so much there. We picked up Teamsy there. We picked up all kinds of things from all the leaders. And because I looked at her when we got there, and first day at poolside, I looked at her, I said, we don't belong here. We don't belong here, because we're silver directors, and we're like 3-year-olds in a high school. We just don't belong here. And the first thing, Ryan Barson came up, and he's like, how you doing, man? You made it, kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, we did make it. And I made that statement. I said, I just don't feel like I belong. And he's like, you qualified, you belong. And I want to tell you, if you haven't started on Founders Club, it's easy if you just go one at a time. It's like eating a hamburger, one bite at a time, one leg at a time. We started writing legs up last April 1st, or at the end of March. This person's going over. As soon as she would bring in a distributor, this person's going over. And that led to what? Sponsoring 2 in February. That was part of the high volume thing that we had, to 7 in March, to 28 in April, and 42 in May. That's what led to that, because we just started writing it and professing it, and God rewarded us, and we've just been rewarded ever since. And then I finally convinced her July 5th of 2020 to go in and resign that little job and come home, because I said, you can't run an executive business working with a bunch of teenagers all day. You need to come home. And I said, now when you come home, we got to double again, because I'm only doing this 1 more year.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and
that's
so-
2 more months, and we got the best months.
Yeah.
Here comes the best quarter of every year, April, May, and June. If you haven't been around our April, May, and June, Tammy's shaking her head, because she knows April, May, and June. Every good thing you do in January, February, and March sets up April, May, and June, and it's phenomenal.
And, yep, and we talked a lot about us writing things down and putting it up, and we have it. We declare it. We put it up on the board. We want to see it, and getting that, focusing on your inception volume, your 1,200. That it does a couple of things for you. First of all, it gives you your Founders Club points, but it also brings in enough people that now you have some legs to work with. So if you get really good at 1,200 inception, and then just keep repeating 1,200 inception, because that sets you up. You might bring in 1,200 inception and they all stay customers, and that's okay. The next 1,200 you bring in, they might all be distributors, and maybe half of them wanted, do the quick start. Maybe the other half, they didn't really know what they signed up for. But if your focus is totally on your 1,200 inception and getting really, really good at that, then your business just starts to grow. And laying in, so you're wide and deep. And he talked about working levels 1 through 4, and we've been very profitable because we've gone wide and we've gone deep. And we lost a 30,000 point leg, and it didn't make a difference to us. And so
right now she has 19 active legs that she works with, and so, but that's because of consistency, and that. Some of the people that are in those active legs are 2, 3, 4, 5 deep, and it's just declaring, because we have a couple of people very, very close to us that are leg levels 1 and 2 that are just, for some odd reason, people will do that, and you feel really bad, because you're like, what their potential is, because Tammy can shake her head. The money at Platinum Director is like really, really, really nice, isn't it? Anybody, I'm telling you, and everybody can be there, because when we hit that 2,000, that's solidified for me that this business can be done. And if we just do 2,000, so we professed from the get-go we were going to do 2,000 on our own every month to prove to our newest distributor that can be done every month. And those other distributors that come along, I mean, I do everything in the background. I add friends, I do birthdays, I do all the stuff that doesn't take a beautiful voice and a beautiful face to do, except for my gruff football players. I mean, if any of you NFL, I'm 61, so none of you are as old as me, but there's a man ready to jump in our business by the name of Randy Cross, who played tight end for the San Francisco 49ers for a long, long time. Because a friend of his is involved in our business and has lost and will have lost 50 pounds in 40 days by the end of this next week. And this man is a connector, and it's so much fun. And we would have never found him if we wouldn't have stayed consistent and stayed with it, because a level 4 found his wife, found our level 3. And in Minnesota, they live in Arizona and California. And I'm like, this is so much fun.
Well, and the thing that to kind of remember is that you're reaching out, because I'll have people say, I've talked to all my people, I don't have anybody else. So daily you need to be making friends. And so we reached out to, we were both college athletes. We were coaches.
No, I was not a college athlete.
He wasn't.
I was barely a high
coaches,
school athlete.
College coaches. So we reached out to our athletes, and then reached out to their friends, and we picked people that we would want to be around, to go friend their friends, you know, and we've had Kella and Lacey say to us, well, you know, if we
We
would,
have two people.
if
that
we
are
would
friend-
complain
that are
about-
acquaintances and friends that are actually frontline.
if we would complain about not having, you know, people that we could talk to, they would say, then you're not big enough. You know, if we would say, well, none of our people are doing anything, then they'd say, you're not big enough. And so it was kind of like, you know, stop complaining, just keep doing it, and go find someone new, you know? And so, because there's people out there that they'll be ready when they're ready, you know? And so I use the example of when you plant seeds and you're, you know, I talked about this before, you're watering it. Some of those seeds are going to be started for you. So they come in and they're, you know, 4 to 6 inches, and you plant them in the ground. You still have to water them and tend to them, right? And those are the people that, you know, they get in and they want to be distributors right away, and they're ready to go, and they're going to get their fast score, and you're working with them, but you still have to take care of them, and you still have to nurture them and water them and help them grow. You know, the seeds that you plant that take 30, 60, 90 days to kind of germinate, those are the ones that, you know, you just never know, something big could come out of it, right? And so, so we have one girl in particular, she went 6 months with just being a happy customer, you know, losing her weight, and then all of a sudden decided to upgrade, and she's pushing for a gold director, goal for her, gold manager, and should hit that tonight or tomorrow. And so, you know, it's their time, it's God's time, it's not your time. But if you just stay consistent with them, and, you know, and love everybody where they're at, and you might have a different picture or vision for someone than what they have. And so just keep speaking it into them, you know, keep speaking in that, you know, if they have declared to you that they want to be executive, then keep speaking it into them and declaring it over them. And, you know, every time you see them, greet them as a, you know, here, you know, like we say to Lacey, since we've been, you know, the last year or better, you know, she's our silver ambassador, you know, and so, and then when she hit silver ambassador, it was fun because, you know, we could declare that title for her. So anyway, so speak that into your people. And as you're running through the end of the month now, you know, it can get wild, it can get crazy, and it can also slow down. So, but don't stop. Just keep doing your daily things, your IPAs, your income producing activities, and you know, reach out to your upline and get their help when you need it. And you guys will.
And your upline is awesome.
Yeah,
she is awesome.
Yep. Any questions?
Yeah, y'all got anything y'all want to ask? I mean, I think I have been inspired by their energy, their excitement. That's what I love of being around people. That's why we've got to get to events again, to where we can be around and feel this and catch it, and just know. And I'm just going to tell you, they are doing incredible, but they're just regular everyday folks. You know, they're just like us that's doing this. So
we both grew up on farms in the middle of nowhere in North Dakota.
yeah,
And she asked me out, and we've been together ever since.
love it. Okay, anybody got anything? We've got 8 or so more minutes. Y'all just
Question. How do you keep up once you get so many people? Like right now, I feel like my head's just spinning. I can't.
Yep, very good question. I'll tell you, I had notebooks and notebooks of people, and I was losing conversations, and I was missing out. And when we were in Panama and the twins were talking to us, actually it was Cass Lowe that talked to me about getting on Teamsy. And so she, you know, helped me get it set up, and she's like, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. And we literally saw our business just almost double from the minute that I started using it.
I just started Teamsy, what was it, Kim, about 6 weeks ago? And since that time, my business has exploded. But I still feel like I'm having a hard time keeping up.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I have to say that when I was working full time and you know, I didn't sleep, and I literally, like when it took off and the months that we hit executive, he was literally bringing me food and saying, you've got to get up and go take a shower. It was crazy. But so what I figured out is I've kind of figured out the ebbs and flows of the day. And do you work outside of the home?
Well, I do. I'm on FMLA right now, so fortunately, I'm not right now.
Okay, so you kind of probably figure out the ebbs and flows of your day, and I would suggest make sure that you step away from it. You know, so like for me, I figured out that I'm busy in the morning, and I usually hop on around 6 and get my 8-day starts done for sure, so I can hit them in the morning before they go. And I figured out which of our teammates are on, and so if I'm in approving or commenting or tagging them with somebody in our results page, I know who I want to make sure that they get their tags, because they'll work it before they go to work. And then I'll work that till about 9 o'clock 10 o'clock, and then I'll take phone calls. I'll set up inspiration calls or connection calls until about noon or 12:30. And then I take 12:30 to about 2 kind of off and do what, something different. And then things start ramping up again about 2 or 3. And then I'll be, we'll take a kind of a dinner break off. Again, we kind of can figure out when people are going to be on or off, because you want to be on and active when people are going to be on and active. And so we'll hit people as they're coming home from work. They'll hop on and check things, right? And then you know that they're probably going to be putting kids to bed or whatever. So there's going to be a little bit of a lull, but then it starts, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it's going to be busy until, 10:30 or whatever. And so if you can kind of figure out and then make sure you're prioritizing with Teamsy, it's so easy to prioritize who you're talking to. And, your money makers are your customers. So hitting your customers first and making sure that they're happy and they're going to stick with you. And then the second thing is to, your prospects, or excuse me, your distributors. Touch your distributors, because again, you have to work with them, constantly, so that they feel that value of and that connection to you. And so, touching them every couple of days, and then go to your prospects. And that's I don't know, that's something we've kind of worked around, and it's worked for us, and just an idea for you.
Okay, thank you.
Hope that helps.
It does.
Anybody else?
Yep.
I don't know. No, I liked that, how y'all were just doing it as far as customers, distributors, then prospects. Because too many times we'll get caught up in prospect chats, I think, going, and then we don't have time for the important people, So flipping that around, I like that a lot. What do you think, Kim? What do you do? I don't know if Kim can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can. I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
What do? I work all freaking day.
I know you do.
No one ever takes a break. I don't know. I'm very glued to Teamsy. Teamsy sets my day for me. I do basically kind of what Jen and Greg do, kind of. I take off in the afternoons usually. I usually go do something for my uncle or something, but seems like noonish to 2 or 3, it's dead. Everybody's napping or they're doing something. So yeah, it's about what I do.
Okay.
I do have a question for you guys, and this isn't business wise. Where in North Dakota are you from?
From Leeds, small town by Devil's Lake. You know where that's
I
at?
grew up in Moorhead, Fargo area.
Oh, yeah. That's where Heidi Duttenheffer is from the Fargo. We have a lot of legs in North Dakota. And what was really interesting, like when we first started there, and of course, because it was, family and friends, we would have people say, you can't build it in a small town, and we have directors and platinum. I mean, we have in every town and every size town in North Dakota. So, it's kind of fun to.
And we taught college at Bemidji State in Minnesota for 10, 12 years. So.
Yeah. And we went to school. We graduated from Mayville State.
I went to NDSU.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, we were at Mayville and then went to Bemidji.
Yep.
So do y'all have 19 frontline active teams?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do now, Tammy. I mean, or people that we treat like frontline. We have 19 legs that we're working with, and we're trying to expand that because we still have a leg to get to go to Founders Club yet to qualify. We had a whole bunch of names up there, but we have a lot of people that that only got 2 or 3, and so we got to grab another one and get that last one qualified, because it's really starting to get me scratching and itching.
We'll have it done before we go to Founders Club in May.
Or before we go to the May trip.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
Really inspired by what you guys said. Sorry, Tammy.
No.
About being up to that last 6 hours of the day or whatever. Because I feel like that's where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right where I'm at now.
And so, if you get a heartbeat of where you people are, I mean, we're kind of like that today, because I felt like, and right now there's just like this calm before the storm is what it feels like. Mm-hmm. Because earlier today we had our girl solidify her $1,000. And I know that Denise is going to solidify her gold, and we have a couple other girls that are ready to, one of our All-American shot putters who finally came along. Lori's going to solidify her gold. She's about that far away, and I know by the end of the night. So it's just that calm right now because there's so many things that are ready to explode, and you're like, I know they're going to go.
And Greg, I know we're probably fixing to have to go too. It's fixing to shut us off. So before I just want to say thank you so much. I've got to do the upgrade so we can keep going because that is exactly what this team is fixing to do. We're fixing to see big explosion by tomorrow night.
You'll explode.
We're excited to watch you and cheer you guys on.
We can't wait.
Yeah. I mean,
it
it is so good. It is so good to see these feeling that. And I wanted them to feel it from you. So I hope y'all, this minute lasted longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Up there. But I want y'all to feel that. Catch this. This is these two, they are saying you can do it. They've done it. You can do it. They're coaching. Believe in it. Know that last bit. Don't stop. You know, and it's a team effort. It's reach out to everybody and say, let's all do it together. So it's going to be all the way. I mean, we can do it early, but we're going to go watch party all the way to 1:59 tomorrow night or Thursday morning. And then we're going right into April. We're not even going to skip a beat. We're going to just forget that and come 2:00. We're going to start rolling in more new starts right away. We're going to just keep going as if that time didn't stop. So anyway, so that is, thank you so much.
Thank you for asking us.
Do this again. I can't wait. Y'all will be silver. Well, y'all are already silver executives soon. And
what we're shooting for.